Okay, I'm about 5-ish hours into listening to The Eye of the Bedlam Bride. And I have some qualms with the book so far. This is just an average opener to me. There's things that are intriguing to me, and there's things that I'm just bored by. And this is one of those where I think I have to trust the author. I've gotten through all these books, and there have been parts that have been really entertaining and really enjoyable, but I guess I'm just trusting in Matt Dinniman to be someone who is going to lead me to a decent ending. But again, the last book started off really strong. I don't think it ended particularly strong. Maybe this book is going to start slow and end really strong. You never know. But there's a few things that are going on that I just... I will always attribute this to me listening to this, and I would love to be able to sit down and read this, but I am a slow reader and I don't have the time to be able to do that. And I go for lots of walks, so I just have to listen to this. And it's a really enjoyable listen to. Like the audiobook author is great, but sometimes I lose track of something and I won't be listening for a minute and I'll be like, okay, it's still fine. I still kind of know where we are. And I'll miss things. Obviously, you guys have known that if you've been following this journey in any way. But the beginning of this novel just seems all amiss to me. Like, I don't necessarily care that much for the secondary characters that come in. Like, we have this nun in, and we finally find out that she was actually the inmate, and the other two guys were the cops, or they were the patrolmen, or the jail guards, or whatever it was. And so that was an interesting twist. And this woman was using essentially people to protect herself, and that was interesting. So I like her. She's an interestingly written character. But some of these characters are just not that memorable to me. And there's a few things that are memorable in this section. So it's like the first 5 hours. So we got something that I thought was really interesting, which was we got more of Carl's background, which I love. Anytime we get more of Carl's background, it's great. Even his willingness to open up about his background is fantastic. There's all sorts of interesting things with his sponsor. Like, he was on a sponsored program, kind of. And the back and forth with that is great. How the person who was running that was kind of trying to help him. They talked about milk and potatoes and how he had a good recipe, milk and potatoes. And so he still has half that yam, but I do not know what the heck that yam or potato is for. What's the purpose of that? And there's one person in the cookbook who their name is Milk, or they go by Milk. I was trying to think of guesses for that, or like what really is going to happen. And I was just lost. I could not figure it out. I could not think of anything that's going on with that. And I think that's the thing that I may be most excited to see in this novel, is how Dinniman is going to weave that into the whole narrative. I'm hoping that he does it in this novel, but I kind of doubt it. And again, I've had some other guesses. Like I keep saying Mongo is going to die in every single novel, but he doesn't. So I'm going to go... I feel like I should say that he's going to die, so he doesn't. So I'm going to say he's going to die. Wink, wink. So he doesn't die in this novel. But if he dies in this novel, I jinxed it right here. I just feel like there's going to be some kind of goodbye. Like, some of these characters have not had the hardest thing to do in saying goodbye to other characters. Like, there hasn't been crazy huge stakes in this yet. That seems ludicrous to say, because there have been crazy huge stakes. But I do love we're getting Carl's background. That's really fantastic to me. That's something in the beginning of this novel that I need and that I love. I hope we get more of that. I think the novel, to me, is just a little too unorganized. And so we get it at certain spurts, and then I don't know if we're going to get it for another book or so. We'll see. Also, the prisoners, that was really interesting, how there's another god that's helping them get through the next level. Like, if they do this, I forgot what the god's name was. But Katya and Dona are wearing that crown, and so essentially, like, if they help out this god and do what this god wants, then this god will get both Katya and Dona and Carl down to the 12th level or something like that, or this god will get them down past the 9th and then at least Carl down to the 12th level. So that's great. That's exciting. It feels a little disorienting not having the last level, the 7th level. I mean, the AI is kind of compensating, but I also think maybe Dinniman didn't really want to bore us. Maybe he really knew his audience. And the 6th level was really entertaining because that was just, everyone was looking forward to the 6th level, and everyone's looking forward to the 9th level. So he said in his head, I think, this is how it went: how am I going to keep people for 2 more books? And he could have, obviously, he would have had a huge fandom if he did. But I think a better way to do that was what he did, was breaking the 7th level and bringing us right to the 8th level, where we just have to read one book between this and the I keep forgetting what the ninth level is even called, or what its purpose is. Faction Wars. Faction Wars. So that's really exciting. I just kind of finished as Carl and Donut were in the Faction Wars meeting. That was also really interesting. I don't know what the heck is going on with any of that kind of stuff. Again, I really should be reading this book, but I don't have the time to read this book, so I'm just going to keep listening. Sorry, Audrey. Sorry, Lana. So that's something that I find maybe to be just a bit confusing. But I think the biggest questions that I have right now, how are they going to redeem this one woman, this one nun? Like, is she going to be someone that plays a really important role in this? Knowing Carl, like, this is, again, the similarities between Carl and Harry Potter are, yes, they're going to find a way to make her helped and beneficial and of service again to this world. Carl only hates people who are bullies and people who are killing other crawlers. He wants everyone to work together. And so if he has someone, like, again, this woman is crazy. She was a nun killer. She was a little nuts. And Carl is having mercy on her and being gracious with her, which makes Carl Carl. Something that not a lot of people could do, and I really love that about Carl. So that's one of the storylines that intrigues me the most, is how is her redemption arc going to play? It's going to be a lot of chaos along the way, but I think her redemption arc is going to play into this in some way. That's one of my biggest questions. One of my other biggest questions is, how is Faction Wars going to start, and what's going to be the deal with the Faction Wars? I think that's something that's really interesting in my mind. I don't really know what's going on with that, but I'm excited for more of the meetings. There's also the things of like Bomo and Sledgey went to the next level, so that's a little bit of a bummer. I love them. But also you have all these minor characters that are starting to play more of an important role. Like, you learn who Zev's boss is, really, which is kind of crazy. And the most intriguing question for me right now is, what does that yam do? I just want to know. And it's great. I didn't even think that there were going to be some of these crawlers who were in the real world. I don't know why I didn't think that, but some of these people who are cookbook anarchists, they're obviously alive, and they're obviously all putzing around and still well. So I'm so excited to see if we get more of those people, or if maybe some of them pop up in Faction Wars. That's going to be great. And yeah, that's kind of where I am in the novel. I think I'm intrigued, but there's just a few lulls. Like, I would say out of the 5 hours that I listened to, I probably had 2 that were really of interest to me, and the other 3 were just like, there's too many battles. Like, I'm kind of sick of some of the battles. Like, I don't care that much for the battles anymore. Like, give me more intriguing character studies. I guess we have to do this because we're in this world and the whole purpose is battle, but I would not mind if he sped some of those through and said, oh, we battled these brindle grubs, or these whatchamajiggots, or these, whatever it is. And he skipped over some of that stuff and said just quick sentences about it. And then we got to more of like them talking in the common room, or in their, safe areas, or on game shows or talk shows, or in meetings, or whatever it is. That's the real core of this novel. That's what I like the most about it, is getting to know some of those nitty gritty things. But I guess we do have to have that still in the novel with them having battles. Like, this seems like, I guess, a strange balance for me. And at the beginning of this novel, it is striking a little slow to me, but I think it's starting to pick up, and I still am very intrigued in this novel. So I'm going to keep plodding along. I got a trip coming up, so I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get done reading, but I probably will be able to get done a bit of reading, and maybe, throw some random videos up. We'll see. But don't hold your breath. But that's all I got. If you made it this far in the video, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.